When utilized properly, it is a powerful fuel source. It can motivate you to reach heights you never once conceived of. It can help you improve so much that you far stand out amongst regular people. Some of the best, most badass characters that inspire millions, if not billions, always tend to be the angry ones. Though with Superman out there now, there are many who are starting to see the light, and that's phenomenal to see. However, we still have these goats. Batman molded himself into the ultimate specimen after losing his parents at a young age. Vegeta became one of the top 10 most powerful mortal fighters in all the multiverse due to his entire character growth from evil genocidal alien, enslaved by another evil genocidal alien, to now a loving protective father. Wolverine underwent 100+ years of various trauma and abuse to become one of the most ferocious yet dependable X-Men. Raphael, though different in many iterations and has different reasonings for his anger in those varying iterations, I like the primary reasoning that his internal rage comes from the fact that he realizes that he and his brothers are stuck in the sewer and possibly won't ever be accepted by the outside world and live normal lives above. He trains extra hard to let off his frustrations versus his brothers who have their own reasonings for their training. The rageful badass has been a staple favorite for years, and when you have a character like that, many will see the response they get and try to replicate them in real life as close as they can without getting arrested, but there is something I do think that we need to discuss. All of us go through pain. It's what life is, and without it, we literally would not be able to grow as a person both physically and mentally. But all of us go through various degrees of pain, and some grow up in areas that they are susceptible to much harsher conditions than the average person. Experiencing various degrees of sadness, anger, fear, disgust, anxiety, embarrassment, and pain consistently for majority of their developmental years can have a profound impact on their mental health and the psychology of their brain. That's why when they initially interact with others, they can come off a bit rough around the edges. Some will put on masks to hide their pain, and some will push people away or pretend like they are normal like the rest of the crowd. Some will have developed a different worldview and now treat others how they were treated. And some will develop great empathy and realize the way they were treated was not right and doesn't want anyone else to go through the BS they went through. On this planet of 8 billion plus people, we are all living different lives. But the reason I'm making this video today is to talk about this whole thing of a person becoming more snarky, jaded, arrogant, closed off, indignant, overcompensating, galvanizing, alpha and sigma wannabes, and just so much more. Something I've noticed a lot of is people who've undergone similar treatment in their lives, so they mimic these badass characters, but they still take out their personal pain on people who have nothing to do with it. Now, as much as I love Superman and realize he's just a generally good person, I realize deep down internally, I am more an anti-hero mindset, bordering anti-villain at times, because in my brain, the way I see it is just like, I believe in truly rightful reciprocation.
Who is
about to take your head off?
Because there are so many people out there who will initiate this aggressive, unnecessary, unwarranted energy to yourself or to your loved ones. And when you go, okay, I'm gonna reciprocate the energy you're giving me back to you, they act all confused and offended like, what did I do? When you were the one who initiated it. Imagine two people, person one and person two. Person one is having a bad day for personal reasons, and they just want to be left alone. Person two thinks it's funny that they're in a bad mood, and they begin to F with them. Person one asks them to stop, person two continues over and over, and then person one goes home feeling worse than they came in feeling, and person two chuckles to themselves. Then time goes by. Person two now has a bad day. Person one, seizing the opportunity, now reciprocates the energy given to them when they had their bad day. And person two goes on a whole whiny emotional tirade of how it's different. A massive fight ensues, and person two does not realize how much of a bitch they are being, even though they started this and never apologized in the past.
He can quit it out, but he can't take it.
My philosophy these days is do no harm, take no shit. But also, you do not know what other people are going through, so be kind, all right? Why make someone's day unnecessarily rougher if they've done nothing like antagonistically negative to you? It's simple consideration and human decency, because once person two has their bad day, their feelings are now sadly invalid because all people are doing are reciprocating the energy they were emitting back to them. You have no one to blame but yourself there.
My attitude is,
Don't start nothing. Won't be nothing.
And to add on to this, something I've always noticed, and you probably have too, every single time, the people who always say, why you so soft? Bruh, toughen up. Me being an asshole is supposed to be funny and stuff like that. They are always the ones that crash out the loudest on their bad days, or if someone brings up something that they were trying to hide or something like that. They'll accuse you of being soft all day, but yet they're acting softer than baby shit because they got no emotional regulation skills. We'll talk more on this in a bit, but too many people act like they got something to prove over literally nothing, so it's important to keep that mental health in check.
But that's the thing. So many of these people rationalize it's okay for me to treat others this way because it's how I was treated. Or I'm better than them and they need to know it. Or they subconsciously think and internalize, I bet you think you're better than me, you piece of shit. Well, you're not. I'm going to treat you as such. And then some of them decide to get really strong in the gym or like at a physical sport like football or bodybuilding or MMA, etc. And then that amplifies that feeling of,
I'm the Homelander. And I can do whatever the fuck I want.
But here's the thing, now that you're strong, why don't you get your get back at the people who unjustly treated you like shit instead of all these other people who have nothing to do with it?
the sad reality is most times they either can't because it was someone taking care of them, or mentally they have this fear block in their head of that person or of certain people, even when they now physically outclass them, so they never get the chance to make the person who hurt them pay.
When you don't heal from what harmed you, you'll always bleed on those that never cut you. So they want to feel strong so they can make others feel how they felt. But here's the thing, that does not make you look strong. Here's an analogy. If I go and I lift up this 10-pound weight, is this impressive to you? No, because I'm a grown man who's been into fitness for most of his life, so this is nothing. Now, if I lifted something really heavy or did a calisthenics skill that a lot of people can't do, that shows a lot of strength and skill because it shows that it took a lot of effort and hard work to achieve, because strength can only be shown when it's overcoming an obstacle. You watching right now, if you went to an elementary school and beat up a first grader, is that impressive? Maybe that you were able to get past all the guards and stuff like that. Like that school really needs like, you know, better security. But no, it's not impressive because you're grown. But let me ask y'all something. Here's another scenario.
Imagine there's an average guy out eating dinner by himself in a restaurant or at a booth, and some heavyweight MMA fighter walks in and says, move, I want to sit here. And he says, no, I'm sitting here, I paid for it. And the MMA fighter says, move or I'll move you. And the person says, no, I'm not moving. And the MMA fighter knocks him out and takes his booth. Who is the badass in that scenario? For anyone who said the MMA fighter, you kind of just outed yourself as one of those subservient, lackey friends. You know the ones I'm talking about. Those people in the group who are trying their damnedest to get approval from someone they wanted admiration from, or just to fit in with a group of people and would do anything they're told because they just do not want to be alone. Like, yeah, dude, you cooked him. Or, oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Do you think so-and-so is mad at me or anything like that, dude?
And to the people who used to be those type of friends, be proud you grew out of that, because some never grow out of that. They stay them for years and never get their own independence, and it's always heartbreaking to see.
Standing up for yourself when you know another person is stronger and trying to bully you will always make you the instant badass in that scenario. But as I mentioned in depth in this video, there's so many ways to handle that scenario in real life, especially as an adult, that if that ending transpired as it did, that MMA fighter would be fucked. If you are a goddamn MMA bodybuilder and beat up an average person, is that impressive? No, because you know, and everyone else knows, that you are already leagues above this person physically. However, there is an inverse to this though. If you have built yourself up to be strong and see someone who hasn't and they are trying to bully or take advantage of others and you stop them and make them second guess attacking yourself or others, that is a serious sign of strength. You're intimidating to some, admired by some, feared by some, and some can see what you are trying to pull like they can read your real life power level.
But again, as mentioned in this video, there are so many layers to self-defense, especially safety-wise.
Some people get into this headspace of, I need to hurt them before they hurt me because subconsciously I don't feel worthy enough to be around them, or I don't deserve this kind of love, so they act out. And for the ones who mask their true self and put on this bad boy personality and they've attracted certain people into their lives, they don't want them to see what's really underneath for fear that they will leave them.
I'm gonna be so brutally honest with you, dude. If you are so internally terrified to show more than this bad boy personality you've crafted or whatever fake personality you have crafted, and that you have various emotions and other things, and that person you're seeing will get the ick and leave you, you are much better off without them in your life, and you are developing a very unhealthy codependency.
That goes for anyone faking their personality to attract someone. It's awesome to be hooking up with hot women, but if you cannot be your true self for years and have to mask who you truly are, it is not going to work out. You are going to regret it, and you are going to resent them and waste years of your life building something with a shitty foundation.
I have seen this happen countless times in real life, sadly.
To add on to that, let's talk about people who have the appearance of everything has gone perfectly my way, and yet I'm still going to try and make you feel inferior. So some guy could be like, I'm a 6'5" multimillionaire, handsome Giga Chad jacked, champion MMA fighter who hooks up with all the women you goon to like Johnny Sins.
Versus me, who's a measly trainer slash YouTuber who is the same height as Son Goku and who is like got a mid-fitness physique, I guess, because fitness inflation is just mess with people's heads. And then also just like I have decent hands and I really like waifus and waifus, yay!
Now for some reason, let's say I didn't antagonize you in any way, but you feel the need to insult me, try to hurt me, or make me feel inferior. I don't take it personally anymore because there's 8 billion plus people on the planet. Not everyone's gonna like you, just like you yourself don't like everyone. And so I just think of them as a loud NPC and vibe out. But then they notice they didn't get the reaction they want, so they double down on trying to belittle you or make you feel inferior.
But this is where they fucked up, because that shows me that you're not generally secure in yourself and want to feel powerful versus being sincerely, secure in yourself and just being generally cool.
Some people become mega narcissistic, but you need to realize people only try to bring you down if they've internalized something and somehow feel like they are beneath you. To me, especially since I never initiated antagonizing you, you're just a stranger and one of 8 billion people on this planet.
Like shit, bro, I'm openly cringe but free, my dude. Like, why waste time with me? Like, don't you have better stuff to do? You have the lifestyle that a lot of people only dream of. Like, I can't imagine someone like Michael Jordan sitting doing this online all day or shit like that. Go spend a weekend with freaking Angela White. Do you know how much, matter of fact, I want to manifest that for myself. Give me that future. Okay, but like legit though, all seriousness, I did do a video on actually Baki's mentality that has helped a lot of people combat their codependency and actually overcome it. Legitimately though, I'm very passionate about this subject because I sadly was this type of person, and I wish I had videos like this when I was younger to show that like you're not alone going through this. Now I've talked about this many times before on this channel, but I was so resentful from the bullying I underwent as a child that I actually started to hide my emotions and mask them when I started to get stronger. And after that, I used to overcompensate with rageful aggression whenever someone tried to challenge me or gave me a tone like they were better than me in some way, or like I felt like they were better than me and I felt like, oh, I have to knock them down a peg. One of the biggest regrets I have to this day is allowing people to affect like my personal taste and all that stuff. Like for instance, I would talk about how I used to get bullied for anime back in the day, like even wearing Dragon Ball Z shirts in middle school and other stuff. And I've talked about it in depth before on this channel, but it's one of those things where nowadays, this was years before the great shift, years before anime became like what it is now. It's mainstream, everyone knows what it is. And it was one of those moments where my parents, they would always get me this stuff and it would be like, oh, I'm excited to see your joy. And I'd be like, oh, so happy to receive it, because the designs back then was just, they look badass as fuck. I still think that's like peak design wise. And it was one of those situations where I allowed these bitch ass people to affect my enjoyment of something. And so like I remember going like home one day and feeling like just like shit and going like, hey, you can get rid of like these shirts, I don't need to wear them anymore. And I like got rid of most of them. Like I have like a couple still, but like I got rid of most of them because I allowed myself to feel insecure and inferior to these other people. And that is something that like held in me. So whenever someone would make me feel insecure or try to make me feel inferior some way, I would clap back, especially after doing the weights and MMA stuff. I was just like, nah, this ain't about to go down again. And that like rage beast, that smoke beast was like building. Now, thankfully these days in my 30s, and one of the reasons why I always talk about like mental health stuff on my channel is because thanks to years of meditation, therapy, and also like reading certain books on like the brain and how like your neurons respond or how they fire in certain ways when emotions hit you, and then like how people respond to them in different ways and why some others can't respond certain ways. They're all very fascinating, and it's why I always try to like make my videos to help y'all out with this sort of stuff. I now can like, use that stuff. It's just like, okay, yeah, now I feel it, but it's not as like overwhelming as before where it's like, oh God, I'm so angry. And so it's why I always encourage people like, if you're not doing anything that's harming people, or you're not promoting something that is objectively negative for the environment or people, or trying to hurt anyone at stuff like that, and someone tries to make you feel inferior for enjoying something that doesn't, do those negative things, that's not hurting people, and like all this other stuff make you feel inferior, then it's realistically a thing of just going like, I don't have to associate with you. I can cut you off. I just need to focus on the people in my life that I love, the people in life who support me and stuff like that, because that's one of the things, especially online. And you see hundreds to thousands of people's thoughts per day from like random strangers. And honestly, I don't think getting that much information at once is just good for our brains at all, like for various reasons. But I've talked about that before in past videos. But going back to how I would act when I was going through it, sometimes I would just be overly mean or downright condescending to people at points, especially if they were just like joking around playfully with me, or I would act in a stupid way because my emotional regulation skills were like a chart that would just go up, down, and I could not control it at the time. Like people I felt like were antagonizing me or something that in hindsight was not that serious, or being presumptuous or being overly familiar, etc., etc. Like I remember prior to meditation and therapy, I would react. And it's something I've been talking about a lot on this channel especially, is the ability to choose how you respond and not react, because that is the problem. Like when you are like very bad with emotional regulation, everything is like react, 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 and you get like after it. And it's just like, that does not help the situation. You have to be able to choose how you respond. And that's why I always have those videos on things to help you with that. And I'm gonna be so honest with y'all, like every time I would snap over like something like that, I always generally hated myself after that. Like I really hated what I was doing and how I was hurting and stuff like that, and hurting other people I cared about and stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, it's like I've talked about it with fitness stuff too. Like one of the reasons I had so many injuries over the years was because I had this thing in my brain that I am like this, I'm not gonna be a bitch anymore. I will not be like this weakling that gets pushed around anymore. So I would always push myself, and if my body couldn't handle it, then I was just like, oh, you're still a bitch. We need to freaking, you know, crush that part of you out. And it just led to so many unnecessary injuries because of that poor mental health. And there were even times where I did something that was just objectively stupid that I thought was funny, but it turned out to be more hurtful. And then like when the person would scold me rightfully, or people would scold me rightfully for it, my ego at the time could not take it. So it'd be like, oh, I'm getting mad at you for making me feel bad. And that was one of those things where like when I actually had time to calm down, I'd be like, no, what is going on with me? And to this day, I openly admit I'm still not a flawless person. And it's one of the reasons why I'm such a big advocate for all this, like, you know, fitness stuff and mental health stuff, because it helps you to improve your life generally. It's why I made my mental health playlist, because after all these years of therapy, meditation, all this stuff, I understand that there are millions of people who go through the same stuff I'm going through, but they just don't have anyone to like help them through it, or they feel like they have to repress it. And I'm just going to say, like, you don't need to do that anymore.
Especially shadow work. It is so powerfully imperative, as it makes you face who you truly are and how to overcome it piece by piece. I want y'all to know that you are not alone in how you feel. You can fix and mend yourself. And here are the tools that will help you to do so. And you can start bettering yourself and the lives of people around you. It sucks when you realize you are a burden to be around, and you are causing more negative than positive in the lives of those people who care about you. Everyone has a breaking point, and eventually they will get tired and throw you away and leave. And in that case, you can't blame them for doing so, since you constantly pressed their boundaries.
Now here's something I haven't talked about a lot. So a lot of people already know my buddy Rambo, he passed away. Here's his ashes right now. Miss you, boy. He passed away last year because of cancer. And that really fucked me up. But then right after that, I had another heartbreak, which I haven't talked about publicly at all, and I'm still not going to, because I feel like a lot of people sort of overshare online. We've talked about it before. And then also people get into like these misery competitions when it does not help the situation. You can drown in a bath, you can drown in the ocean, stuff like that. It's just like, just be empathetic and sympathetic to help people out and stuff like that. But like, I had another heartbreak right after that one, and I was in like a really mess up place, because the first one, Rambo's, that one caught me off guard. He was only 6, and ooh. Oh man, excuse me. Oh God. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed my boy, okay, sorry. But he was, when he first started having the symptoms and we tried to help him, he was always happy through the entire thing. So he was like always like, you know, willing to play. He was always willing to, oh God. Miss you, boy, but sorry. He was always like smile all the way through, even when the stuff started to like spread. And it was like a thing. And I was just trying to do all this stuff. I was working extra so I could, like, pay for treatments. I was doing all this other extra stuff. But it started to, like, I started to see, like, the cancer just spread and spread and spread and just get over his body till January. We had to, like, put him down for his own benefit, right? So that was, like, the one thing that, like, initially when it happened, it caught me off guard, and I was in a bad state. I remember I was talking about seeing people who were happy, and I was just so miserable that I wanted to make them feel bad. Like, I remember walking through the mall and be like, why are you happy? Why do you get to be happy? And I remember I caught myself. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why am I allowing this negativity to want to spread to other people because I'm going through some shit right now? And then, like, the second heartbreak happened after that, and I was just, like, feeling even worse with, like, the two different things I was going through. Because, again, I go through a lot of stuff. I just don't talk about it publicly because I feel like there is something that you should only keep for yourself and the people around you, right? And I remember just thinking back to my boy and, like, how looking at him, I felt like I was becoming the cancer that took his life. Because the thing is this, what is, like, cancer? It, like, gets in and then it spreads and then it makes everything worse and it eventually takes over stuff. And that's the thing, it's a very similar thing with your emotions, because emotions are very contagious. If you're in a good mood or something like that and someone else is in a good mood, like, you can be in good mood together. If you're in a negative mood, that shit can, like, spread to other people. And especially if you just, like, go, I'm gonna fucking go take my shit out on this person today because I'm not feeling good and I just need someone else to feel like me, because, that crab in the bucket theory and stuff like that. It's like you're spreading this negativity, because then that person could be in a bad mood and spread the stuff, and it's like you basically become that cancer in a way. And that revelation hit me so hard, and I was like, I don't want to be anything like the stuff that took my boy from me. I don't want to be anything like that to the people I love. I don't want to be anything like that to people who have done nothing negative to me. So I make sure that anytime I'm feeling that sort of way, I, like, will either isolate myself and I'll take care of the stuff, or, like, I just will, go and meditate, go train, go do things that, like, make me happy. Because, like, to be honest, y'all, like, ever since, like, having 2 back-to-back and stuff like that, I've just been it's like I feel very numb inside, so I have to, like, make myself feel. I gotta make myself go, like, no, I'm gonna be happy today, I'm gonna do good today. And, like, it's one of those reasons why I feel, like, very blessed when I look at the comment sections, like, oh, you helped me, oh, this video helped me get through this video helped me do this, and all this stuff. And it shows that I'm making a difference for the positive. That shows that, like, I'm helping spread good stuff. But, like, again, the people who've been through, like, various things themselves, and they're like, oh, I want to just make everyone feel worse, it's like, hey, you have my sympathy, and I really hope everything works out for you in the future and stuff like that, and you don't have to do this. But if this is the path that you want to go through, like, I just don't want to be, like, near you or anything like that, and I wish you well. Like, I just want you to get help and all this stuff. But, like, I don't have the mental bandwidth anymore to, like, deal with stuff that, like, does not benefit me. That does not benefit the people I love or anything like that. And I feel like this is just going to waste time, both our times, and it's not going to help anything. And so I'd rather be doing things that help the people I love than doing this stuff to, just spread this bullshit because I'm not feeling well. I don't want to be anything like the cancer or anything like that. So I that's something I always keep going forward. It's just like, hey, if I don't like someone, I don't care for someone, I'll just distance myself. If they're doing something that's really hurting someone, I'll comment, like, a certain way just to, like, let them know what's up. But I'm not going to get into this thing.
Now, I understand sometimes this is hard to listen to and learn these things, and most times it'll only hit if it comes from a person you deeply respect or wanted admiration from. And sometimes when people finally get that, the emotions are so palpable that they finally let themselves break down after all those years of hiding them away inside. And in that case, I really hope they can give that to you, but I also don't want you to go through your entire life always waiting for something when there are current tools here to help you.
Hell, dude, if you're feeling a certain way, there's nothing wrong with isolating yourself and letting you feel what you are feeling. Even the coldest person in the world has, like, one thing they care about.
Go to an isolated place and cry. Scream in nature. Punch a heavy bag, etc. Do what you gotta do. There is no shame in that, and it can be cleansing for the system so that you don't let loose on some random person who did not deserve it. Hell, use the comment section below to vent. You're not alone here. People always try to bait you to react in some way because they don't think about you as a person. They want you to be their entertainment, like some dancing monkey in a circle. Like I mentioned in this video, you have to take 60 seconds and control how you respond instead of immediately snapping back, reacting. The quicker you are to get emotional and crash out, the easier you are to manipulate. It's literally like putting a big sign over your head and saying that I can be manipulated and used as a puppet to do something that's gonna burn me. Now to this day, I still make mistakes. Again, I'm not a flawless person. I always say that because especially these days on social media, people present themselves like how All Might presented himself. Again, love All Might to death, but a lot of people will present themselves as their lives are perfect in every way. Put me on this pedestal because I am far above y'all. And people unfamiliar with that start to get in their heads like, why can't my life be like this? Not realizing that person is just masking a perfect life and goes through their own troubles too. They just don't talk about it. I always say I prefer to be like Spider-Man because he makes mistakes. He's not perfect, but he generally does the best he can.
Matter of fact, keep an eye on people like this.
And this is a simple law that has held throughout history time and time again. It states, the most dangerous people never have regrets, only explanations. And what that means is, well, have you ever noticed how some people never admit when they're wrong? How they always have a reason, an excuse, a way to twist the situation so they're never at fault? How they act like the victim, even when they're the ones who caused the damage. Compare that to someone who actually owns their mistakes, someone who doesn't twist the truth to look good, someone who doesn't make excuses, but instead makes things right. One of them is always justifying. The other takes responsibility. So if you want to know if somebody has evil tendencies, don't focus on how they hurt you. Look at whether or not they justify it.
Those people I always observe and keep my distance from because they always intentionally or unintentionally cause a lot of stress in your life unnecessarily so. Now yes, I can still slip up these days and be like, oof, yeah, you know what, that was my bad. Just like you can. But it's like that speech in Superman, all right? This is what it means to be human, all right? No one's perfect unless you're him. Hell, even these days, I know some people think I'm a dickhead, and I openly admit I can be at points, not like my pre-therapy days, that was a different Jordan, but like it's more so cold indifferent. But thankfully, I've gotten better at that, especially when I stop looking at stuff like right early in the morning and I do my meditation right when I wake up. Like I just do a 10-minute follow along meditation. I'm good to go. I notice when I don't do meditation consistently, I'm more in line to be like, yo, bitch, you some shit like that too. So it's just one of those situations you just get better at it piece after piece. And it's just like, you know, it's okay not to be perfect.
You're gonna make mistakes. That's life. But it's how you learn and grow and gain evaluative experience so that you don't make those mistakes over and over and over again. Even though the internet is a very hyperbolic place and sees everything as this and that, black and white, etc., not every mistake you make equals mega Jared Weinstein, Hitler Bundy, Dahmer level horrific crimes or some crazy shit as the internet would make you believe. A quote I heard a long time ago that I really love was, once you genuinely accept your flaws, no one can use them against you to make you feel insecure or hurt you. And it always makes me think of that scene in 8 Mile where Eminem roasts himself before Sam Wilson has a chance to.
1% better every single day and you'll become grateful of the person you're becoming.
And another thing I want to make something perfectly clear, there's no shame in having a spicy personality, you know, like those badass characters. Emotional regulation doesn't mean you're now Jedi boring emotionless. It just means you can better control your snapping.
Just to take it out on those innocent people who've done nothing to you, but those people who unjustly fuck with you or other people you care about or any innocent people, yeah, I know, fry they bitch asses.
Here's a bonus. If you ever feel like you're in a mood and potentially gonna have a bad day, because sometimes those moments still happen, make a contingency plan of prep so you are less snappy to the people who care about you. Personally, I always have a quick tasty energy snack, or I also carry a stress ball like this. I have meditation breathing exercises I can follow and follow along with like things that just help me to calm down and just go, okay, catch yourself, bro. You don't need to do this. I also communicate that I'm having a bad day to my friends and loved ones. And if someone thinks it's funny to agitate me even further when they know I'm trying to get better from past anger issues, I cut that nigga off like Jack Didaku, because my 34-year-old ass does not got time for that type of bullshit anymore.
Another thing, like I mentioned mentioned in this video that helps visualization. So like, for example, if I'm in a situation, if someone's like yelling at me, I like pause and then imagine myself putting on like a Michael Myers mask. So it like cuts off the emotion so you can just like think logically for a second. So like think of that scene where Busta Rhymes was just yelling at Michael Myers. It's just that sort of thing where it's like, all right, I'm going to detach so I can look at this logically. So it's just like you imagine yourself putting the Michael Myers mask on, and then it's just like, okay, now I'm good to go.
But also, if online stuff is stressing you out, remember, you do not need to be online all the time. I did a YouTube short breaking down various activities that you can do outside and decompress. And my last video, I talked about how to live your best life in 7 simple steps.
Don't believe me? Try to cut down on the amount of time you use social media and do the 7 things I mentioned in this video and do it for 30 days straight and watch how your life improves, your mood improves, like everything starts to improve once you start doing these 7 steps. And if you see something that pisses you off online, ask yourself these questions first. You are not the same person you were 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. As a matter of fact, most people aren't because of this. Life is about evolution, not regression. For those people who stayed the same, still act the same, still make the same mistakes they know they shouldn't over and over, that is not a flex. You can stop today. You can get help today. You can get 1% better every single day, and a year from now, check in on yourself and be so proud of all the results that you made. But if you're a person like this, comment below how you overcame it or what you're trying to do to overcome it. Because when we all show that we're all trying to like accomplish the same thing, we can all come together and help each other. Because again, it shows you are not alone. And I know for a fact you are not alone. We're all in this together. And if you made this far in the video, type "it will not take me" to show that your inner pain and your inner demons will not ruin yourself or other people's lives. You will control it and you will temper it, just like I talked about in my mental health playlist. You can go check that out after this. But now that we made it to the end of the video, tell me, who is your favorite aggressive character in like fiction? Me personally, I really love Raphael. I love my boy Hiei. I also love my man Vegeta back there, but there's tons of them out there. So go on, comment below. Like, as a matter of fact, everyone in this thumbnail I pretty much vibe with. Be sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe. Got a ton of stuff coming this month. And also, like, I got a ton of stuff to help y'all improve your fitness goals, like programs as well. I'm running a school program to help people transform before the new year, before it gets way too packed. So this is the gluttonous trio of months. So definitely sign up for that if you want to get a jump on this so that you don't have to worry about like overeating at those certain places. And then yeah, like definitely if you're interested in a coach who can help guide you, you know, train you and all that stuff too, then just click the link in my description and then we'll talk on Zoom and I can see if I can help you, and then you can join like our thing of just like, you know, training, and I can like make stuff to help you out. But I'm very excited. But yeah, do not let the anger take you. You are not alone. Do not get into that headspace of this. And then another thing, I want to mention this because it's a very common thing. Like, this does not take away from your masculinity at that. As a matter of fact, I want to say this right now. This does not take away from your masculinity, because there's this whole thing of like liking masculine things or acting with that masculine energy is now toxic. No, there's heroic masculinity as well. And that is the stuff that I'm trying to promote on this channel. Matter of fact, there's something I just found. It's called Hell Yeah Core. If y'all know what that is, it is this thing where all these like people take like these clips from like the 2000s or stuff like that, just like various sports and action shows and muscles and fighting, and it just gets you hyped to like start the day and get after the day. And I'm just like, ah, yeah, I fucking love it. So yeah, Hell Yeah Core is one of my favorite things, and it just makes you like, yeah, man, it's all about that stuff. So there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone like make you feel like this way, all right? There's a way that it can be toxic. There's a way it can be heroic. There's a way it can just be like natural stuff. So don't be ashamed as long as you're not doing anything to hurt innocent people or any innocent things like that. But I think I've talked enough. This was a video I wanted to do for a while. It was a passion thing. But remember, like I always say, keep calm, booyah on, and don't forget, Momentai. Now go crush the day. And remember, you're not alone. Oh, by the way, this is Rocky. How you doing, boy? He's being camera shy.